welcome to my channel. My name is Linda. Today we're working on 3 thrifted farmhouse inspired DIYs. So let's get started on project number 1. So what I'm starting with, I found this at Goodwill. Looks like a Christmas ornament, of course. I got it for like $2.99, and the first thing I want to do is use some sandpaper and get off all the glittery on the outside, and then I will take it outside and spray paint it in the flat black. I've also distressed it, as you can see, again with some sandpaper. So I have this wood grain paper I got from Hobby Lobby, and the first thing I'm going to do is trace around this entire shape. My thought is to turn this into looking like a home decor cutting board. And so once I get everything traced, I turn it around so that I can see kind of those scored areas in the center, and I'm marking where those are on the paper. And then double line them, each scored area, and I'm going in around in each section about 1/8 of an inch in, and I'm redrawing a new perimeter on each section between those scored lines that I drew out. And so here's what it looks like. I'll do it on every section just like this, and I'll cut out so that I have 4 individual pieces when I am done. Here's what they are, ready to go. And so you can see I cut them so you see a little bit of the wood grain all the way around. So now this wood banner piece I have here came off of a Dollar Tree St. Patrick's Day sign. I saved it, of course, and I'm just taking it and tracing it onto my colored cardstock here. And then I'll do the same thing as I did for the board. I'm going to take a pencil here, of course, and draw a new perimeter about 1/8 of an inch in all the way around, so it gives me a new pattern line, and I'll go ahead and cut that out off camera. Now I'm taking Waverly White chalk paint, and I've got this small wood word that says you and me, of course. It came in a package of like 4 words. I got it like the dollar bin at Michael's, like, years ago. And then I'm using Dixie Belle chalk paint in the color Caviar, of course, just a fancy word for black. And I'm coming in around the edge of this banner, painting it, and then around the front and back, just about 1 inch in, because it will get covered up. And then once the painting's all done, using my 80 grit sandpaper, my sand block, I'm just going around and distressing this banner piece so it looks like our other wood piece, all nice and distressed. Taking the open end of my scissor blades here, distressing around the edges. You just scrape it around the edges of your paper. Adds a nice rustic texture. And as you can see, the sewing around it as well. I took all my pieces of paper to my sewing machine and sewed it. And now we're going to go ahead and start getting the paper onto our cutting board, as we're now calling it. It's not an ornament anymore. We'll get everything on here, and then we're going to add a vinyl quote that I made in my Cricut design space coming up here. Show you what that looks like. I think this turned out really cool, and I liked adding all the kind of paper crafting to it to kind of bring it up a level. Add the colored cardstock, kind of a teal color, to our banner shape. Here's our quote part of it. This part, Sweet Life, downloaded everything from dafont.com. So this font here is called Heart Breath Demo. And then I've got the remaining fonts here, and it's all just done with Baskerville. So I'll kind of lay everything off, the rest of it on here, but then I will, get it adhered and everything off camera. So by the time we've got our quote on here, it will say the Sweet Life Market open daily. I'll just show a little bit, and then, like I said, finish the rest off camera with a little head view. And then we're going to go ahead and add our banner piece to that one section there. Super cute. And this is just a little ephemera word from my supply, a little scrapbook word. I'm going to kind of add it down below. It says Pure Happiness. And then I'm going to add some black and white checkered ribbon from Dollar Tree. Just tied it into a little bow. And then I've got a little mini clothespin also from Dollar Tree. And I'm going to add a little bit of glue so I can attach it to our little you and me word here and attach that to the ribbon. And then I will glue the ribbon on at the top. And then once I do that, this project is complete. Here's the before picture, and then here comes the after. Before we move on to project number 2, again, welcome to my channel. My name is Linda. I love to do all sorts of DIY home decor crafts, from Dollar Tree crafts to farmhouse to rustic to primitive to paper crafts. If you're new here, I post videos once a week, so go ahead and hit that red subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on a single video from me. Now this video is in collaboration with some of my sweet friends here. This is a thrift makeover collaboration, and let's look at the channel lineup for today. This is Liana from Liana's DIY. This is Maria from Artsy Cupcake. This is Sandra from the Schwinn's Nest. This is Lori from Lori Bly DIY. This is Favi from Creations by Favi. And this is Lisa from Lisa Birmingham. Now I will have a link to the playlist in my description box as well as pinned in my comments so that you can go check out all the other inspiring ideas that these beautiful ladies came up with. But for now, let's move on to project number 2. So for this sign, my cousin actually bought this from Goodwill, and she's like, can you make it pretty? So we're going to make it pretty. The letters are all loose, the E is broken, but we're going to fix it up. First up is we need to remove all the letters from its base, so we're going to, of course, take out all the screws, save them because we will put them back in, and we're going to go ahead and fix this E. Kind of hard to pull apart there, and we're going to try our best to pull off all the excess glue where somebody tried to repair it and make it look okay with electrical tape, I guess. And then I'm sanding up all the bits and pieces, of course. And then I'm going to use some wood glue here. Get off all the excess because I got a little bit too much in there. Get it all over my fingers, but I'll use the stuff on my fingers to put it on the other side. And then once I get it put together, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to clamp it. And I believe I clamp it for a couple of hours. And then once that wood glue is all set up, I'll go ahead and use some of this wood filler because where I sanded it, of course, and everything, it did leave quite a bit of space, which is why I let the wood glue set up for quite a while. I tried it first like within a half an hour, which is kind of what I normally do, and it just fell right back apart because of too much space. So I had to kind of re-glue it, reclamp it for a couple hours. Adding the wood filler in all the way around to fill in all the space left by sanding it. I mean, the wood glue takes up some space, but you know, we also want to take up the rest of the space. Once that's all dry, I'll sand it all up, and then I'm going to paint all the pieces with this Rust-Oleum spray paint in flat black off camera while that's sitting there drying. This is a wood arrow from Dollar Tree, and I cut off the little tails so it's nice and straight. And I'm just taking that Dixie Belle chalk paint in the color Caviar like we used in the first project and just painting around the edges. Here's everything all sanded up, all the letters and base and my arrow. Did that off camera. And now here's my screws. We're going to screw this back in off camera. So now we're going to go in and go ahead and decorate our arrow. So I cut all my pieces, traced my arrow, cut my pieces of paper, sewed around the edges, and of course opened into my scissor blades, distressing the edges just like on the first project. Here's what it looks like. So for the back, I fully traced it all the way around using this plaid paper from Hobby Lobby, and on the front, I retraced the perimeter to make a new pattern so the little bit of wood would show around the edge and add the cardstock to the front. Again, use my Cricut Design Space. I use the font called Yessy, Y-E-S-S-Y, my cousin's last name here. And it does come with those cute little hearts and everything on this font. So cute. And now I have these little bees. Now I painted these off camera because I've done a previous video already where I showed how I painted them and everything. I added curly wire here just like in the previous video. I'll link that video down below. These are wood pieces. They come like this with the body and the wings. You can get 2 different sizes here. I'll make sure I link that in the description box for you if you are interested. And I'm just going to apply these. Now I'm applying these temporarily. Double stick tape on the back of the arrow and just a little bit of glue to tack it down, so in case my cousin wants to remove these, you know, when it's not summer. And then of course putting that bee into position, and then on the bottom again just with double stick tape. That way she can remove it if she wants. Just like that. Very strong enough to hold and move my bee into position, as you'll see here. Nice and strong. Holds it perfectly. Then I'm going to get my arrow onto the C, so I'm just marking it here so I know where to put the glue, and then once I get this glued on, you guessed it, this project is complete. So here is the before And here is the after. So let's move on to project number 3. So for this project, this is a watering can that somebody gave me. They thought I could do something with it, so that's what we're doing. And I'm just sanding off all of the kind of texture swirly paint that was on it and doing a kind of a primer coat with this white flat spray paint inside and out. Then I'm using Debbie's Design Diary DIY White Swan chalk paint here with a pouncy brush, and I'll do a couple of layers and just pounce it on to give it a little bit of really light texture. When you pounce it on this way, it gives it a real nice kind of light texture. And then I've taped off the bottom about quarter edge of it. And then I'm going to use this DIY gravel road paint and some sand from Dollar Tree. I'm going to mix the two together because now I want this bottom portion where I taped off to be really textured. So adding some of this gravel road paint in there. And then just as much sand as you want. And I use this Dollar Tree sand because it is a little bit thicker, coarser texture. And then I'm just again pouncing it on with a pounce brush all the way around, including the bottom. And then once I get it where I want it, I will go ahead and, I'll paint it up, of course, and I will set it with my heat tool. I want to show you this paint's so cool. See how dark it is? But when you heat set it, it turns a lighter shade, which just baffles my mind because normally when you paint something, it dries darker, right? But this actually turns lighter. But I love it. I just had to show you that. Once I get it all dried up, we'll go ahead and remove the tape, give you our aha moment, those beautiful painted straight lines. Take us a moment. Kind of had to do bits and pieces around the spout there. I think that looks perfectly wonderful. Look at that. Really nice. I'll have a little bit of touch up, but not too much. Looks pretty great. Love how it turned out. Love the texture. Now we're going to go ahead, and I have this little cardboard tag from my scrapbooking, and I'm tracing it onto some of this dot paper. I think I got it at Hobby Lobby as well. I'm just going to trace the front and back, but on the front I'll do just like I did the other two projects. I will trace it, redraw a new perimeter to allow some of the tag below to show around the edges of the paper, and then the back will be covered fully. I'm going to paint this tag front and back with this kind of darker Dixie Belle chalk paint. I've sewn my papers, and I'm of course scraping along the edges again using Beacon Fabri-Tac glue today. Don't know if I showed that. So we're covering the back completely, and in the front you can see the new perimeter drawn and a little bit of that tag showing around it. I just like that look. It gives it kind of a nice farmhouse look. Again, yes, Cricut Design Space. The font I'm using on this one is called Casking Cream Script. Weird names, I know, but I'll have the names listed in the description box for all the projects, and of course they are all free from dafont.com. But I thought this would be cute, kind of hanging off the side near the handle. Sweet Blooms Market. And now I'm adding in some foam here. And I'm going to be using these flowers from Dollar Tree, these ranunculus flowers, what I'm calling them. I lost the footage, I'm sorry, and luckily I noticed it. All I did was tucked all the blooms into the styrofoam. I cut them short, tucked them in. So I've got some ribbon here from my supply, about 24 inches in length, and I cut off the wire off both of them, and then I just cut it in half. So I'm taking one half of the ribbon, kind of the darker half, I'm pleating it back and forth so I have 2 loops on each side. Then I'll take the lighter half of the plaid of the ribbon, lay it on top of the other one, pleat it back and forth so I have 2 loops on each side, and cut off the excess. And then I'm going to take a skewer and set it right in the center. And then I've got like this little kind of wire twisty tie here. I'm kind of taking it over that skewer and of course the ribbon to the back and twisting it to keep it in place. And then I'm going to take a piece of that leftover ribbon, and then I'm going to put it right in the center of our bow to cover up and hold that skewer as well in place and that twisty wire. Just like that, and we'll cut off the excess skewer here, and I'm going to fold the ribbon like in half, and we're going to tuck it right inside next to that handle. And then kind of arrange our loop so it's kind of a cute little puffy bow right there. And then I'm going to take the tag we did. I've already tied some twine through the little loop of the tag, and I'm adding some more twine here because I'm going to make a little bow right on the front here, just for, you know, cute decoration. And then that excess first gray and white twine that's at the top, I'm going to use that on the back to kind of tie the skewer in place. Real easy. I don't want to glue the skewer because I need it kind of loose so that we can really tuck it way down inside here, right alongside that bow down into that foam, and the bow loops will kind of hide that skewer. And that makes this project complete. So here's the before and here's the after. So I really hope you like all the projects that I came up with today. Leave me a comment down below and let me know which one was your favorite. Did you like the cutting board, or the cafe sign, or this watering can? I think they turned out all cute farmhouse inspired home decor pieces. Please give this video a thumbs up. And remember, if you're new to my channel and you want to see more videos from me, go ahead and hit that red subscribe button and notification bell. Also remember, this is a thrift makeover collaboration video, so I will have the link to the playlist in the description box as well as pinned in my comments, so you can check out all the other beautiful pieces that the ladies came up with in this collaboration. I'm going to leave you with one final thought. We are all called to the same purpose: to glorify God, to share His love, to share His word. How you do it may be different than your neighbor or your friend, but it's an everyday choice. So do it with greatness and do it with all your heart. Thank you for sharing your time with me, and I'll talk with you again soon. Bye.